The silver mines of the Ironwood Pack exist in perpetual twilight, a world where even shadows have learned to suffocate. Here, in tunnels that burrow like infected wounds through the mountain's heart, Arya has survived 7 years by perfecting a singular talent she has made herself forgettable. Her white blonde hair, the color of fresh snow and royal bloodlines, stays buried beneath layers of grime and a stolen gray shawl. Her eyes, wolf blue and bright enough to draw attention, remain fixed on stone floors worn smooth by countless shuffling feet. She moves through the darkness like smoke, never quite solid enough to notice, never quite gone enough to forget. The guards have looked through her so many times their gazes no longer even pause. She is inventory. She is equipment. She is not. This invisibility is survival. This silence is life. The ore cart wheels squeal their familiar song as Arya navigates the condemned East Tunnel, the section where the ceiling weeps rust-colored water and the support beams groan with every shift of earth. No one comes here anymore, not since the collapse 3 months ago that sealed off the old interrogation chambers. Even the guards avoid it, muttering about bad luck and unstable ground, which is precisely why Arya is here. In a world where privacy is more precious than food, the condemned tunnel offers something rare: solitude. A few stolen moments where she doesn't have to perform invisibility, where her shoulders can drop, where she can simply breathe without calculating whether the sound is too loud, too human, too alive. She's reaching for the rusty pickaxe someone abandoned, a useful tool, if she can hide it. When she hears it, a sound. Not the drip of water. Not the settle of stone. Not the skitter of rats that have grown fat on the crumbs of omega rations. A whimper. Low and broken, like something massive trying to make itself small. The sound of agony compressed into a prayer for mercy. It comes from behind the barricade. Arya's hands freeze on the pickaxe handle. Her wolf, that part of her spirit that 7 years of slavery couldn't quite kill, surges against her ribs. The sound speaks to something deeper than thought, older than fear. It says, someone is dying alone in the dark. Every instinct of survival screams at her to leave, to unsee this moment, to remain the ghost she's worked so hard to become. The tunnel could collapse. The guards could find her. Whatever made that sound could tear her apart. But the whimper comes again, weaker now, fading like hope does when no one answers, and Arya realizes she's standing at an edge she's never encountered before. Not the edge of death. She's lived on that precipice for 7 years. No, this is different. This is the edge between existing and living. Between surviving and choosing. Between remaining invisible and allowing herself to be seen, if only by whatever is dying behind that wall. Her hands move before her mind grants permission. The rotted boards pry away easier than expected, as if they've been waiting for her. Splinters bite into her palms. Dust fills her lungs. The gap widens. Beyond the barricade lies a chamber that shouldn't exist, ancient stone, not the rough cut tunnels of the mines. And in its center, pinned beneath chains that gleam silver even in the darkness, lies a wolf. Not a wolf. The wolf. White as winter's first snow, massive as legend, dying as heroes do, in chains, betrayed, alone. The silver chains cut through his flesh like burning wire, each link engraved with runes that pulse with sick purple light. The runes are forbidden old magic, the kind that doesn't just bind, but tortures, that doesn't just restrain but slowly devours the soul it holds. Blood pools beneath him, black in the dim light. His sides heave with labored breaths. One eye opens glacier blue, ancient as mountains, intelligent as gods, and finds her. Help me, that eye says. Please. Arya steps into the chamber. Her boot squelches in blood. She drops to her knees beside the wolf, hands hovering over the chains that have carved trenches through fur and skin and muscle. Silver. The chains are pure silver, the metal that burns werewolf flesh on contact, that causes agony with every breath, every heartbeat. She should be burning just from proximity. Her kind can't touch silver, it's a law of nature, an absolute truth. Her fingers close around the first chain. Nothing. No burn. No pain. Just cold metal and the terrible weight of a secret she's hidden her entire life. Arya looks into the wolf's fading eye and makes a choice that will destroy the ghost she's been and birth the woman she might become. "I've got you," she whispers to a dying king and begins to cut him free. Chapter 1. The Girl Who Touched Silver. The first chain is thicker than Arya's wrist, and she has no proper tools. The abandoned pickaxe becomes her salvation. She wedges the pointed end beneath a link and pries with every ounce of strength her malnourished body possesses. The metal groans. The wolf whimpers. Sweat drips into her eyes despite the mine's perpetual cold. 10 minutes. The first chain breaks with a sound like a bone snapping. The wolf's breathing eases fractionally. His eye finds hers again, and something passes between them. Gratitude, recognition, something that makes her hands shake as she moves to the second chain. This one wraps around his chest, the runes carved so deep they seem to drink the light. When Arya touches it, the symbols pulse brighter, angry purple bleeding to red. The wolf convulses, and she jerks her hand back. "I'm sorry," she breathes. I'm sorry. But she reaches for it again because stopping means leaving him to die, and she's already chosen. Her invisibility is ash now. There's only forward. 20 minutes. The second chain splits. Blood flows faster now, not a good sign. She needs to hurry. Footsteps echo in the main tunnel. Distant but approaching. Arya freezes, every muscle locked. Barely breathing. The guards are making rounds early. If they check the condemned section, if they see the broken barricade, the footsteps pause. Voices muffled and bored. Then they move on, fading toward the sleeping quarters. Arya's hands won't stop trembling. She grips the pickaxe harder and attacks the third chain. This one circles his throat, tight enough to choke. The runes here are smallest, but somehow worst. They seem to writhe under her fingers like living things. 30 minutes. Her arms scream with exhaustion. Blood slicks the pickaxe handle, hers or his. She can't tell anymore. The wolf has gone still, too still. His breathing is shallow, irregular. He's fading. "Stay with me," she pleads, attacking the fourth chain with desperate fury. "Please stay. I didn't find you just to watch you die." The chain resists, then suddenly gives way. The metal falls to stone with a clatter that sounds like thunder in the enclosed space. Arya's heart stops, waiting for running footsteps. Shouted orders, the sound of her death approaching. Silence. Blessed, terrible silence. 38 minutes. The fifth and final chain. This one wraps his hind legs, the runes so dense. They overlap. Her hands are bleeding now, torn on sharp metal edges, but the silver doesn't burn. It never has, and she's never understood why. Some gift from a goddess who otherwise forgot her. Some cosmic joke that makes her useful in this one horrible moment. The chain breaks. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. The wolf lies motionless in his pool of blood, freed but still dying. Then light blooms, not purple but silver white, pure as moonlight. It pours from the wolf's body, fills the chamber, blinds her. Arya stumbles backward, throwing up an arm to shield her eyes. When the light fades, a man lies where the wolf had been. Naked, bloodied, but unmistakably human. And unmistakably powerful, even unconscious and broken. Authority radiates from him like heat. His hair is white as his wolf form, falling past his shoulders. His face could have been carved by an artist who only understood beauty in terms of warfare and winter. He's also barely breathing. Arya drops to her knees beside him, pressing trembling fingers to his throat. His pulse is there. Faint, but steady. Alive. Against all odds and logic, alive. His eyes open, the same glacier blue, and lock onto hers. When he speaks, his voice is rough. Gravel and smoke. You touched silver. I did. Impossible. But his lips curve into something almost like a smile. Thank you, impossible girl. Then he passes out, leaving Arya alone with a naked alpha and the knowledge that she's just destroyed any chance of the quiet death she'd planned for herself. Chapter 2. Adrian wakes with a gasp that sounds like drowning in reverse. His hand shoots out, fingers closing around Arya's wrist with strength that shouldn't exist in someone half dead. She freezes, meeting his eyes, sharp now, alert, taking in everything about her in a single heartbeat. Where? His voice is stronger, though pain threads through every syllable. Ironwood Pack. Silver Mines. You're still in the interrogation chamber. She keeps her voice low. Steady. How much do you remember? Enough. He releases her wrist, tries to sit up, and the movement costs him. His face goes white, jaw clenching against obvious agony. The peace summit. Beta Garrett's smile right before the silver nuts fell. Waking up here with runes burning through my skin. His gaze finds the broken chains scattered across the floor. You freed me. The chains were killing you. They were meant to. He studies her with unsettling intensity, cataloging details she's spent years hiding, the white blonde hair now visible in the chamber's dim light, the sharp intelligence in eyes that are supposed to stay downcast, the way she holds herself ready to run. Despite kneeling beside an Alpha King. What pack are you? Ironwood. Omega rank. The words taste like ash. I work the mines. Something dangerous flashes across his face. They enslave their own. They do a lot of things that break the old laws. Arya rocks back on her heels, putting distance between them. Can you stand? We need to move before the next patrol. In a moment, Adrian's voice shifts, takes on weight and texture that makes the air itself feel heavier. First, we address the debt between us. I am Adrian Thorne, Alpha King of the Northern Realm, and you have saved my life when I had no power to save myself. By the ancient laws that govern all pacts, by moon and blood and bond, I invoke the right of life debt. Arya's stomach drops. She knows what's coming before he says it. Your life for mine. Your service for my salvation. You freed me from chains, and in doing so, bound yourself to me. His eyes hold hers, relentless. You belong to me now, Arya of Ironwood. My property by law and debt, mine to command until the debt is satisfied or death releases. You. The words land like blows. She's heard this speech before, different words, same meaning. The guard said it when she was dragged to the mines at 15. The beta said it when he explained why struggling was pointless. Her own alpha said it the day her parents died and she became pack property, tradable as livestock. I saved you because you were dying. Her voice comes out harder than intended. Not to trade one master for another. The law doesn't care about intention. Adrian manages to sit up fully, though the effort leaves him trembling. Only action. You created the debt. I'm simply naming what exists. Then I reject it. The words burst out before caution can stop them. I reject your law and your debt and your claim. I'm not anyone's property. Not anymore. For a long moment, Adrian simply stares at her. Then, incredibly, he laughs, a rough, pained sound that echoes off stone walls. You just told an Alpha King you reject his claim. Do you have any idea how rare that is? He shifts, and despite his weakness, his presence expands to fill the chamber. Most wolves would kill for the chance to belong to the Northern Realm, to be claimed by me. Most wolves weren't slaves first. Arya stands, backing toward the broken barricade. If that's the price of your life, you can pay it yourself. I'll find my own way out. Wait. The command in his voice stops her despite herself. You're right. I apologize. The apology stuns her more than the claim did. Adrian pulls himself to his feet using the wall for support. Even diminished, bleeding, poisoned, he towers over her. Let me rephrase. Arya of Ironwood, I owe you a debt I cannot repay. Will you allow me to offer protection and passage in exchange for saving my life? Partnership, not possession. An alliance between equals until we both reach safety. It's still a trap. Everything with alphas is a trap. But the footsteps are getting closer and she's out of time to debate philosophy. Until we reach safety, she agrees. Then we're done. Then we're done, Adrian echoes and extends his hand. Arya takes it, sealing a bargain she'll come to realize redefined everything she thought she knew. About chains. Chapter 3. Adrian's hand is warm in hers, calloused and strong despite the silver poisoning still working through his system. When she tries to pull away, he holds on a moment longer, studying her face with an expression she can't read. You're afraid of me, he observes. I'd be stupid not to be. Arya finally extricates her hand. You're an Alpha King. I'm an Omega slave. The power difference isn't subtle. Yet you rejected my claim, argued with me, threatened to leave me here. Something like admiration flickers in those glacier eyes. Stupid seems to be the last thing you are. Desperate, then. She moves to the chamber entrance, peering through the gap in the barricade. The main tunnel remains empty, but patrol schedules are irregular lately. They might have minutes or seconds. We need to move. Can you shift again? Not yet. The silver poisoning runs deep. My wolf is healing, but slowly. Adrian tests his weight, wincing. How long was I chained? I don't know. The chamber's been sealed at least 3 months. Maybe longer. Arya turns back to him, and the full reality of their situation crystallizes. You're the Northern Alpha King. The one they say never loses a fight, never breaks a treaty, never gets captured by a treacherous beta and tortured in a silver mine? His laugh is bitter. Legends require updating, it seems. The Peace Summit. You said Beta Garrett betrayed you. Arya's mind works through implications. Which means Ironwood and probably half a dozen other packs think you're dead. And if they find out you're alive, they'll finish what they started. Adrian nods slowly. Which means we can't just escape. We need to disappear completely until I'm strong enough to fight back. Does Ironwood have allies? At the borders. All of them. They have agreements with every pack within 100 miles. Runaways get returned in exchange for trade benefits. The hopelessness she's lived with for 7 years tries to drag her back down. There's nowhere to run that won't send us straight back here. Then we don't run to the borders. We go through them. Adrian's tactical mind is clearly working despite his injuries. Ironwood has enemies further out. Packs that would celebrate my survival and Garrett's treachery. We make it to neutral territory, send word to my second, and let him bring an army. That's at least a week's travel. Through hostile territory. With you poisoned and unable to shift. Arya wants to laugh at the impossibility. We'll never make it. We will. Adrian's absolute certainty should sound arrogant, but instead it sounds like fact. Because you're coming with me, and you touch silver without burning. Do you have any idea how rare that is? How valuable? The word valuable makes her flinch. She's been called that before, always as a prelude to being used. Adrian catches the reaction. I phrased that poorly. I mean you have a gift, Arya. One that gives us an advantage. The runes on those chains, they were designed by a blood mage. Forbidden. Magic that only works when powered by silver touching flesh. You shouldn't have been able to break them. But I did. Which means you're not what you seem. Not just an Omega slave. Something more. He takes a step closer, and despite everything, Arya doesn't back away. Tell me, have you always been able to touch silver. Since I was born. My mother could too, before she died. The memory comes with familiar pain. She said it was a blessing from the moon goddess. A sign we were meant for something important. Arya's laugh is hollow. Turns out importance looks a lot like slavery. Or revolution. Adrian's voice drops. What if your gift wasn't meant to keep you trapped, but to free someone who could change things? You mean you? I mean both of us. He extends his hand again, but this time it's not a command or a claim. It's an offer. Partnership, Arya. True partnership. You help me escape and regain my throne, and I help you burn this place to the ground. Every chain. Every slaver. Every law that made you property. It's too big. Too impossible. The kind of dream she learned to stop having years ago. But his hand is still extended, and the sound of footsteps is getting closer, and she's already chosen once tonight to be visible instead of invisible. We plan as we move, she says, not taking his hand but heading for the barricade. And if you try to invoke life dead again, I'll leave you for the guards. Understood. Adrian follows, moving stiffly but determinedly. Though for the record, queens who threaten kings usually wear crowns. I'm not a queen. Not yet, he agrees, and somehow, in the darkness of a slave mine, it sounds like prophecy instead of mockery. Chapter 4. The tunnels form a maze that Arya knows by heart. 7 years of moving through darkness teaches you to read stone-like language. She leads Adrian through the narrow passages, taking routes the guards avoid because they're too tight or too unstable. Places where the mountain presses close and the air tastes like copper and fear. Adrian moves behind her with surprising quiet for someone his size. The silver poisoning slows him, makes his breathing labored, but he doesn't complain. When they pause at intersections, his tactical mind maps their route with questions whispered against her ear. How many guards at the surface entrance? 2, usually. 4 if they're expecting trouble. Shift rotations? Every 6 hours. Next change is dawn, maybe 2 hours from now. They freeze at the sound of voices ahead, guards discussing something in bored tones. Arya pulls Adrian into a side tunnel, one barely wider than their shoulders. They press against rough stone, her back to his chest, his breath warm on her neck. His heartbeat thunders against her spine too fast. The poisoning is getting worse. The guards pass without looking their way. Arya waits a full minute before moving again. You're getting weaker, she murmurs once they're clear. I'll manage. But his hand on the wall for support tells a different story. They climb now, following an air shaft that connects to the surface. It's steep, treacherous. Meant for ventilation rather than passage. Arya has used it before 3 times she's made it to. The top breathed free air, then climbed back down because there was nowhere to run. Tonight is different. Tonight she has a reason beyond stolen moments of sky. The things they did to you, Adrian says during a brief rest, the rune magic, the torture chambers, it's all forbidden by the Covenant of Pax. Laws older than any living alpha. If the council knew what Garrett was doing here, they'd probably make excuses. Arya's voice is flat. Ironwood provides silver to half the packs in the region. Economic convenience beats moral outrage every time. Not with proof. Adrian's eyes gleam even in the darkness. Not with a witness who survived their interrogation chamber. Not with an Alpha King who can testify to treason and treaty violations. You think your word matters more than their profits? I think my army matters more. He grips the next handhold, pulls himself up with visible effort. And I think you underestimate how many alphas would love an excuse to take down Garrett. He's been consolidating power for years, breaking agreements, pushing boundaries. He's made enemies. They reach a junction where 3 tunnels converge. Arya pauses, listening. Water drips. Somewhere to the left. To the right, distant footsteps echo. Straight ahead, blessed darkness. And the faint taste of night air. This way, she whispers, moving toward freedom. The final passage narrows to almost nothing. Adrian has to turn sideways to fit his shoulders. Through. His breathing becomes ragged, pained. Arya realizes with cold certainty that if he collapses here, she can't carry him. She'd have to leave him or stay and be captured alongside him. She reaches back, finds his hand in the darkness. Almost there. 20 more feet. His fingers squeeze hers. Keep going. Don't wait for me if I fall. Shut up and climb. She feels his silent laugh against her palm. Then air. Real air, cold and sharp and carrying the scent of pine and snow. The exit is hidden. Behind a tumble of rocks, overgrown with dead brambles that catch at their clothes. Arya pushes through first, then helps Adrian over the last obstacle. They emerge on a hillside above the mine compound. Below, lights mark the guard towers, the slave quarters, the administrative buildings where Garrett conducts his illegal empire. Above, stars blanket the sky in numbers Arya forgot existed. Adrian collapses to his knees beside her, breathing hard. In the moonlight, she can see how pale he is, how the silver burns have left angry marks across his skin. He needs proper healing. Soon. Welcome to the surface, she says quietly. Now comes the hard part. Getting past the perimeter guards? No, Arya looks down at the compound, at the only home she's known for 7 years. Deciding whether we warn the others or save ourselves. Adrian follows her gaze. Understanding crosses his face. The other slaves. Your friends. They'll be punished for this. For my escape. For not reporting strange sounds. Her hands curl into fists. Garrett will make examples of them. If we go back, we'll be captured. I know. If we're captured, everyone dies. Them and us. I know that too. Arya stands, dusting dirt from her ragged clothes. But I also know I can't live with myself if I don't try. Adrian is quiet for a long moment. Then he rises beside her, swaying slightly. How long do we have? 10 minutes. Maybe 15 before they discover you're gone. Then we'd better move fast. He meets her eyes. For what it's worth, this is exactly the kind of stupid, compassionate decision a queen would make. Stop calling me that. Make me, he challenges, and despite everything, there's warmth in his voice. They descend toward the compound, toward danger, toward a choice that might doom them. Both. Chapter 5. The slave quarters crouch at the compound's eastern edge, a long wooden structure that houses 60 omegas in conditions better suited for livestock. Arya knows every loose board, every shadow that offers concealment. She moves like smoke along the building's rear wall, while Adrian keeps watch from the tree line, too weak to follow but refusing to let her go alone. The door doesn't lock, why would it? Where would slaves run? Arya slips inside to familiar darkness and the sound of exhausted breathing. Dozens of bodies packed onto wooden platforms that serve as beds. The air thick with unwashed bodies and hopelessness. She goes to the third platform on the left where 3 women sleep huddled together for warmth. Her hands shake as she touches the nearest shoulder. Mara. Wake up. Don't make a sound. Mara's eyes open, instantly alert. 7 years in the mines teaches you not to sleep deeply. Her gaze finds Arya's face and widens. You're filthy. Where were you? Saving someone. Dooming us all. Maybe both. Arya grips her friend's hand hard enough to hurt. Listen carefully. In about 5 minutes, the guards are going to discover an Alpha King missing from the interrogation chamber. They're going to come here looking for answers. 4. Someone to punish. Arya, what did you? I freed him. And now I'm running. She moves to wake Jesseth, then Cora, the 2 other women who've kept her sane through the years. You need to run too. All of you. Different directions. Before dawn. Don't pack anything. Don't wake anyone else. More people means more noise. Just go. Jesseth sits up, her scarred face catching moonlight through the gaps in the walls. They'll hunt us. They're going to hunt anyway. At least this way you have a chance. Arya pulls a small cloth bundle from inside her shirt, the emergency supplies she's hidden over the years. A knife, dried meat, basic medicines. Take this. Head for the western border. There's a pack there. Shadow Creek, that doesn't have return agreements with Ironwood. I heard guards talking about it. That's 3 days' travel through winter forest. Cora's voice is quiet, practical. She's the oldest of them, the one who taught Arya how to survive the first brutal months. We'll never make it. You'll definitely never make it if you stay here. Arya forces the bundle into her hands. Please, Cora. I can't save everyone, but I can save you 3. Let me save you 3. Outside, a bell begins to ring. The alarm. They're out of time. Go. Now. Arya pushes them toward the door. I love you all. Run. Mara grabs her arm. Come with us. I can't. I have to go north. Different path. Arya hugs her quickly, fiercely. Thank you for keeping me human. Now go be free. They go, 3 shadows disappearing into darkness, heading 3 different directions. Arya watches long enough to see them clear the compound fence, then runs back toward the tree line where Adrian waits. He's standing now, leaning against a pine tree, watching the compound explode into activity. Lights flare. Voices shout. Guards pour from the barracks like angry wasps. That was dangerous, he says when she reaches him. That was necessary. You cost us our lead time. They'll be hunting within minutes. I know. Arya doesn't apologize. Can't apologize. If you want to leave me behind, I understand. I slowed you down. Adrian turns to face her fully. In the chaos of lights below, his expression is clearly visible and it's not anger. It's something else entirely. Something that looks almost like reverence. Do you know what I see when I look at you? His voice is rough. Not a slave. Not an Omega. I see someone who risks everything for 3 people who can't offer her anything in return. Someone who chooses compassion over survival. Someone who leads from love instead of fear. He reaches out, cups her face with one hand. That's what queens do, Arya. That's what real power looks like. They're my family. Exactly. His thumb brushes her cheek, and she realizes she's crying. You just demonstrated more leadership in 5 minutes than most alphas show in lifetimes. Now let's make sure their freedom and your sacrifice mean something. Let's survive this. Below, searchlights sweep the hillside. Dogs begin to bark. The hunt has begun. North? Arya asks. North, Adrian confirms. Fast as we can. And Arya? When this is over, when I have my throne back, I'm making you in charge of reforming the slave laws. Because clearly you understand freedom better than anyone I've ever met. If we survive. When we survive, he corrects and takes her hand. They run together into the forest, leaving chaos and 7 years of chains behind, racing toward a border that might save them or kill them, but at least they'll face it as partners. The girl who was invisible has become impossible to ignore. Chapter 6. They make it 3 miles before Adrian falls. Not stumbles. Not slows. Falls, a complete collapse that sends him crashing face first into frozen pine needles. One moment he's running beside her, breath coming in ragged gasps. The next he's down and not getting up. Arya drops to her knees beside him, rolling him onto his back. His skin burns with fever despite the winter cold. The silver burns on his chest have turned black at the edges, spreading like infection through his veins. She can see the dark lines crawling up his neck, across his shoulders, poisoning him from the inside out. Adrian. Adrian, stay with me. She pats his face too hard. His eyes flutter open but don't focus. Can't shift, he manages. Poisoning too deep. Wolf won't come. Then we rest. Let your body heal naturally. No time. His hand fumbles for hers, grips with fading strength. They're coming. Can smell them. Half-mile back, maybe less. Arya's heart hammers. She can't carry him. Can't hide him. Can't outrun trained hunters while dragging a 6'4" alpha king through the forest. There's one option. Adrian's voice is fading, each word an effort. Wolfsbane. Do you know it? The purple flower that grows near silver deposits. It's poison. Poison or cure, depending on dose. His eyes find hers, urgent despite the fever clouding them. Small amount, it purges silver from the blood. Too much, it stops the heart. But I'm dying. Anyway, we have to try. I don't have wolfsbane. I don't have anything. Desperation claws at her throat. Check, inner pocket, left side. He tries to gesture but can't lift his arm. Kept it. From interrogation. Thought I might need it. Arya tears open what remains of his shirt. There's a small inner pocket, stitched carefully into the lining. Inside, a tiny glass vial filled with purple liquid. She holds it up to the moonlight barely. 2 fingers worth. How much? Her hands shake so hard the liquid sloshes. All of it. Has to be, all of it. His breathing becomes more labored. Listen. It's going to hurt. I'll convulse. Scream. You have to hold me down. Can't let me shift partially, or I'll die. Understand? Adrian. Do you understand? Alpha command bleeds through even now, dying as he is. Yes. Good. His hand finds her face, touches her cheek with impossible gentleness. Thank you. For trying. For caring. You didn't have to. Shut up. You're not dying in a forest after I spent 40 minutes cutting you free. Arya uncorks the vial. Open your mouth. He does. She pours the wolfsbane down his throat, every drop, then throws the vial aside. For 5 heartbeats, nothing happens. Then Adrian's back arches off the ground like he's been struck by lightning. His scream tears. Through the forest, raw and animal and agonized. His body convulses, muscles spasming so violently Arya hears something crack. No, stay down. She throws herself across his chest, using her weight to pin him. His strength, even poisoned and dying, is immense. He nearly throws her off. Adrian, stay down. Don't shift. Stay human. He screams again, and this time it's her name, fractured and desperate. His hands claw at the frozen ground, at her arms, at anything. The silver burns on his chest start to smoke, actually. Smoke as the wolfsbane purges the poison from his blood. Arya holds him through it, wraps her arms around him, and uses every ounce of strength she possesses to keep him grounded, human, alive. His face presses into her shoulder, and she feels his teeth, feels him fighting not to bite, not to shift, not to lose control entirely. I've got you, she whispers against his hair, the same words she said in the mine. I've got you. You're safe. I won't let go. The convulsions continue for minutes that feel like hours. His body purges silver in ways she doesn't want to examine, black liquid seeping from burns, from his mouth, from his pores. The smell is acrid, wrong, death trying to leave a body that refuses to surrender. Then, finally, he goes still. Not dead still. Breathing still. His chest rises and falls steadily beneath her. The fever breaks in a rush of sweat that soaks them both. The black lines in his veins fade to gray, then disappear. Entirely. Arya doesn't move. Can't move. She's lying across an alpha king in a frozen forest, holding him. Like he's something precious, like he's hers to protect. Adrian's arms come up around her. Weak but present. Real. Still here, he breathes against her neck. You did it. We did it. But she doesn't pull away. Neither does he. They lie there in the darkness, hearts beating in sync, walls crumbling between slave and king. Between survival and something far more dangerous. something that feels dangerously close to trust. Chapter 7. The cave is shallow, barely more than an overhang, but it shields them from wind and sight. Lines. Arya builds no fire, too risky, so they huddle together for warmth while Adrian's body finishes healing. His breathing has steadied, his color returned, but he's still weak. Still mortal in ways that terrify her. "Tell me about your mother," he says into the darkness. "The one who could touch silver." "Why?" "Because I'm trying to understand what you are. And because we have hours until I can travel. And I'd rather spend them learning about you than worrying about the hunters." His voice is different now, softer, stripped of the alpha command that usually underlies every word. "Please." Arya shifts against the cave wall, drawing her knees to her chest. She was beautiful. Silver. Blonde hair, like mine. Eyes that changed color with her mood, blue when she was happy, gray when she was sad. She could touch silver without burning, could even shape it if she concentrated. She made jewelry sometimes, traded it for food. Did she know why she had the gift? She said our bloodline was old. That we descended from the first wolves blessed by the moon goddess. But she also said power attracts predators, so we hid what we were. Arya's throat tightens. Didn't hide well enough. When I was 15, our alpha decided my father's land was worth more than our lives. Had him executed for a fabricated crime. My mother died fighting them. I was sold to Ironwood. Adrian's hand finds hers in the darkness. "I'm sorry. Everyone's sorry. Sorry doesn't bring them back." "No. But revenge might taste like justice." His fingers lace through hers. "When I have my throne back, that alpha will answer for what he did. I promise you that. Don't make promises you can't keep." "I don't." He shifts closer, and she can feel his warmth all along her side. "Arya, there's something I need to tell you. Something wolves know but rarely speak of. More ancient laws? Older than laws. Older than packs." He pauses, and she senses he's choosing words carefully. "True mates. Do you know the term? Fairy tales. Stories mothers tell daughters about destined love. Not fairy tales. Real, though rare enough that most wolves never experience it." Adrian's thumb traces patterns on her palm. It's a bond that transcends choice, that marks two wolves as perfectly matched. When you meet your true mate, you know. Your wolf knows everything, and you recognizes them. Arya's heart starts to pound. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because from the moment I opened my eyes in that chamber and saw you, my wolf has been screaming one word. Mine. Not in possession, in recognition. You're my true mate, Arya. The one my soul was designed to find." She jerks her hand away, scrambling back. "No. No, that's just another kind of chain." "It's not a chain." Adrian doesn't follow, doesn't crowd her. "That's what I'm trying to explain. The bond doesn't remove choice. It just makes clear what's possible. What we could be. Together if we both chose it. You said I belong to you. Life debt. Those were your first words. And you rejected me. As was your right." He leans forward, moonlight catching his eyes. "I invoked outdated law because I was half dead and falling back on instinct. But you teaching me I was wrong. That moment changed something in me. Made me see you weren't just my true mate. You were my equal. Maybe my better." "Stop." Arya presses her palms to her eyes. "Stop saying things that sound like manipulation. Then let me say something that isn't." Adrian's voice drops to barely a whisper. "When I regain my throne, I'm rewriting the laws. Life debt will be abolished. Slavery of pack members will carry death penalty. And the claiming of mates without consent will be considered assault. I'm building a world where wolves like you can't be owned. Where gifts like yours are treasured, not exploited." "Why?" "Because I've seen what the old ways create. Betas who betray their kings. Packs that enslave. Their own. Systems that break people like you until they forget they were born to be more than invisible. He shifts and his hand extends between them, an offer, not a demand. I want to build something better. And I want you beside me while I do it. Not as property. Not even as mate, if you don't choose that. But as partner. As the person who reminds me what freedom actually costs. Arya stares at his outstretched hand. At this alpha king who's offering her the one thing she's never had, choice. I don't know how to be anyone's partner, she admits. I only know how to survive. Then we learn together. His hand remains steady. No pressure. No deadline. Just possibility. Can you imagine that? A future where you're more than what was done to you. For the first time in 7 years, Arya lets herself imagine. Not escape, she's imagined that. Countless times. But after escape. A life where her hands that touch silver aren't weapons or tools, but just hands. Where her voice matters. Where she stands beside someone instead of behind them. It sounds impossible, she whispers. So did escaping. So did saving an alpha king. So did everything you've already done tonight. Adrian's smile is barely visible in the darkness. You specialize in impossible, Arya. Why stop? Now. She doesn't take his hand. Not yet. But she doesn't pull farther away either. Tell me more, she says quietly. About this world you want to build. So he does. And in a cave in the frozen wilderness, hunted and exhausted and terrified, they begin to dream together. Chapter 8. They're 2 miles from the northern realm border when the hunting party finds them. Arya smells them first, 10 distinct scents carried on the pre-dawn wind. Wolf musk and silver. Weapons and the particular stench of men who enjoy causing pain. Adrian catches the scent a heartbeat later, and his entire body goes rigid. Run, he says simply. We can hide. There are 10 of them. Trained warriors. And one of them is Garrett. Adrian's voice is ice and fury. The beta who betrayed me. Who orchestrated everything. He's coming to finish what he started. Then we run together. They'll catch us both. Adrian turns to face her, and his eyes are already shifting human blue. Bleeding to wolf gold. But if I buy you time, you can make the border. My guards patrol it. Constantly. You'll be safe. Adrian, no. This isn't a debate. His hands cup her face with desperate gentleness. Everything we talked about in that cave, the world we could build, the laws we could change, none of it matters if you die here. You have to survive this. You have to reach my territory and tell them what happened. Promise me. I won't leave you to die alone. I'm not going to die. His smile is fierce, feral. I'm going to remind them why legends fear my name. Now promise me, Arya. Promise you'll run and not look back. The hunting party crashes through the underbrush 100 yards away. Arya can see them. Now massive wolves, silver weapons glinting in the breaking dawn, and at their center, a wolf. Larger than the others with a coat like dried blood. Garrett. Promise me, Adrian demands again, and this time alpha command threads through every syllable. Not a request. An order. I promise, she gasps and hates herself for the words. Good. Adrian kisses her forehead, quick and fierce. When this is over, when I come for you. Because I will come for you. We're going to build that impossible world together. Remember that? Then he shifts. The transformation is instant, violent, beautiful. Where a man stood, now crouches a wolf that makes the hunters look like puppies. Adrian is massive in his true form, white as winter death. Eyes blazing gold, power radiating from every line of his body. The silver poisoning is gone. The wolf's bane has done its work. He's not just recovered. He's magnificent. Run. The command comes not in words, but an alpha force that compels every instinct to obey. Arya's legs move before her mind consents, turning her away from Adrian, away from the hunting party, toward the border she can't yet see. She runs. Behind her, Adrian's howl splits the dawn, a war cry that echoes off mountains and freezes. Blood in veins. It's answered by Garrett's snarl and the chorus of 10 hunters who think they're facing a weakened king. They're wrong. Arya forces herself forward even as her heart tears in two. The sounds of battle erupt behind her, snarls and screams, the wet crunch of teeth meeting flesh, bodies slamming into trees. Hard enough to crack wood. Adrian is fighting not just to survive but to give her time. Every second of distance she gains costs him blood. She runs faster. The forest blurs. Her lungs burn. 7 years in the mines haven't prepared her for this, for running full out, for life or death speed. But she pushes harder because Adrian is dying behind her, and it cannot be for nothing. A yelp of pain cuts through the battle sounds. Not Adrian. One of the hunters. Then another. Adrian is winning. Against 10 elite warriors, poisoned and exhausted, he's actually winning. Arya risks a glance back and immediately wishes she hadn't. The scene is carnage. 2 wolves. Already down and not moving, 3 more circling warily, bleeding from deep wounds. Adrian stands in the center like a white demon, blood painting his muzzle, eyes blazing with ancient fury. He catches her looking and snarls, a clear message, keep running. She does. The border must be close now. Adrian said his guards patrol constantly. If she can just reach them, if she can bring help back. A wolf breaks from the pack behind her. Not chasing Adrian. Chasing her. Garrett. The beta has decided to let his warriors finish Adrian while he handles the witness. The loose end. The slave who knows too much. Arya pushes her exhausted body harder, but Garrett is fresh, trained, built for this. He closes the distance with terrifying speed. She can hear his breathing now, feel the ground shake with each massive paw strike. 20 yards. 10. 5. Then a howl, different from before. Not Adrian's war cry but a call for aid, distant but getting closer. Multiple voices. Pack wolves. Northern Realm guards. Garrett hears it too. He skids to a halt, measuring odds. He could kill her, but the guards would catch him. Take him prisoner. Expose everything. He turns and runs back toward the battle, abandoning the hunt. Arya collapses to her knees as 6 massive wolves burst from the trees ahead, gray and brown and black, wearing the silver collars that mark Northern Realm elite guards. They surround her. Immediately, defensive formation, checking for wounds. Alpha King, she gasps, pointing back the way she came. Fighting. 10 warriors. He needs help. Please. The largest guard, a scarred gray wolf, shifts into a massive man with commander's presence. Take her to the border camp, he orders 2 of his wolves. The rest with me. They surge past her, a rescue party thundering toward the sounds of battle. Arya tries to follow, but her legs finally give out. She collapses fully, shaking, as 2 guards flank her in wolf form and begin leading her toward safety. Behind her, a howl rises, victorious and wild and unmistakably Adrian. He's alive. For now, he's alive. Arya lets the guards guide her forward, every step taking her away from the man who stood between her and death, who bought her freedom with blood, who made her believe impossible things in a cave at dawn. The man she might love if she survives long enough to figure out what love means. Chapter 9. The Northern Realm border camp materializes from the forest like something from a dream. Proper tents, warm fires, wolves in formation who bow their heads as the guards bring Arya through. She's placed in a commander's tent, given water and blankets, but she can't rest. Won't rest until she knows. How long, she demands of the scarred commander who stayed behind. How long until they reach him? Minutes. My best warriors, and they know the Alpha King is alive. They'll move like lightning. He studies her with sharp intelligence. You're the one who freed him. I'm the one who got him captured again. The words taste like ash. If he dies because I was too slow. If he dies, it's because 10 warriors ambushed him, not because you couldn't run fast enough. The commander's voice is firm. He made his choice. Respected his choice. But respect doesn't stop her hands from shaking or her heart from fracturing with every minute. That passes without word. Then a howl. Distant but clear. Victory call. Arya is on her feet and moving before conscious thought, bursting from the tent and running back toward the border. Guards try to stop her, but she's already gone, following the sound like a compass finding north. She crashes through the final tree line and freezes. Adrian stands in wolf form in the center of devastation, 6 bodies scattered around him, 4 wolves fleeing with their tails between their legs, and Garrett nowhere to be seen. Adrian's white coat is matted with blood, some his, most not. He's favoring his left foreleg and breathing hard, but he's standing. Alive. Victorious. The northern guards surround him in protective formation, checking wounds, securing the area. Adrian shifts back to human, accepting a cloak from one of his warriors, and that's when he sees her. Their eyes meet across the clearing. Something passes between them, recognition, relief, and something far deeper. Something that looks like coming home. You ran, he says when she reaches him. His voice is hoarse, but steady. I promised I would. And you came back. I promised that too. Just not out loud. Arya touches his face, checking for damage, needing to confirm he's real. You're hurt. I'm alive. Because of you. His hand covers hers. Because you freed me, healed me, made me remember what I was fighting for. The guards discreetly give them space. Arya realizes they're staring at her bloody rags, her white blonde hair, her hand on their king's face. She should step back. Should remember her place. But Adrian pulls her closer instead. I told you we'd build that impossible world, he murmurs against her hair. Ready to start? 3 weeks later, Arya stands in the Northern Realm's Great Hall wearing clothes that feel like costumes, soft fabrics, rich colors, fit precisely to her frame. Her hair is clean and braided with silver threads. She looks like someone important. She feels like an imposter. The council chamber is packed, alphas from allied packs, Adrian's inner circle, witnesses to whatever is about to happen. Adrian sits on his throne, recovered now, powerful in ways that make lesser wolves drop their eyes. But when he looks at her standing beside him, his expression softens into something private. My council knows the story, he begins, voice carrying through the hall. How I was betrayed, imprisoned, tortured. How a slave named Arya cut silver chains and freed a king. How she saved my life twice over. He stands, descending from the throne to stand before her. By ancient law, she owes me life debt. Her service for my salvation. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. This is familiar territory. Comfortable hierarchy. I declare that debt fulfilled and void. Adrian's voice rings with absolute authority. Arya of Ironwood owes me nothing. She is free to leave, to stay, to choose her own path without obligation or pressure. Silence. Shocked, confused silence. Adrian extends his hand to her, and his voice drops lower, meant for her alone even though everyone hears. But I'm hoping she'll choose to stay. Not as debtor or property. Not even as mate, unless she wants that title. But as partner. As the person who'll help me dismantle every law that made her slavery possible. As the woman who taught me that real strength looks like. Compassion. Every eye in the room fixes on Arya. Waiting. Judging. She looks at Adrian's outstretched hand, at the hope in his eyes, at the future he's offering. She thinks of the girl who was invisible. The slave who touched silver. The ghost who chose compassion over survival. She takes his hand. Partners, she says clearly. Equals. No chains. No chains, he agrees, and pulls her close. The council erupts, some in approval, some in shock. all recognizing they've just witnessed history. But Arya barely hears them. She's too busy holding the hand of a king who knelt to lift her up, too busy imagining the laws they'll rewrite, the slaves they'll free, the impossible world they'll build together. The girl who was invisible has become impossible to ignore. And she's just getting started. 6 months after the council meeting, Arya stands in what used to be the Ironwood silver mines. But the tunnels are empty now, the chains melted down and reforged into something useful. The slaves, her former family, are free, relocated, learning what it means to own their own lives. Garrett is dead, tried and executed for treason, torture, and enslavement. His pack dissolved, his territory redistributed. Justice served cold and absolute. Adrian finds her in the abandoned interrogation chamber where it all began. The walls are still stained with old blood, the floor still scarred by silver chains. They should demolish this place, turn it into something clean. But Arya wanted to see it one last time, to remind herself where she started. Ready? Adrian asks, taking her hand. His mate bond mark gleams on his wrist silver. Naturally, hers matches it. Almost. Arya looks around the chamber that held a dying king and a girl who thought she was nothing. I need to remember this. Who I was. What it cost. So you never forget why we're changing things. Exactly. She squeezes his hand. Now I'm ready. They walk out together, king and queen, partners in revolution, leaving the darkness behind, but carrying its lessons forward. Some chains are meant to be broken. Some ghosts are meant to become legends. Arya is both, and she's finally, impossibly free.